make faces or anything. That would be silly. Alright, let me start this one too. Why is the world ending?
Oh no! What makes you think it's ending?
Every time I open up my phone, I don't even have to open up my phone, I get push notifications. And the push notifications are things like, career politician quits, citing that somebody did a horrible thing. Like, okay, I get that they're career politicians. They're probably doing horrible things all the time. It seems like that's kind of prerequisite for being a politician these days, unfortunately. And then right underneath that, it's something like, Colorado won't have any snow for the first time since the Great Ice Age. And the politicians say, don't worry about it. It's either that or no snow, no snow, no snow, no snow. Oh, 15-minute warning. Tonight you will have 13 inches of snow. And die.
That's not even taking into consideration ice.
Well, it's taking into consideration one form of ice because avalanche season this year has been insane. Have you been seeing these videos? 3 people got caught in an avalanche this week.
What?
3 people got caught in an avalanche in Colorado. One of them got buried, grabbed a tree, dislocated their shoulder. In Spain, this lady was skiing somewhere she skis all the time with her dog. They both got caught in an avalanche. They're both okay. Then I forget where the third one was that happened, but it's early for these things. It's early for what they are because the snow conditions are insane because it's been so warm. It's been so warm and it's been so windy that it's creating these 12 to 18 sheets of snow that is just so unstable, where it would usually be stable in the same places this time of year, that nobody can go to their beloved skiing backcountry spots. And by nobody, I mean the 6 people that were involved in avalanches this week.
I gotta be honest, I'm still just trying to figure out how you go skiing with your dog.
That one was impressive. And I think the dog's name was Cease. Cease? It feels transphobic, honestly. I don't know the dog's preferred gender and or pronouns, but
You're just worried it's a cis dog.
I mean, it feels a little on the nose, even for a cis dog. And I don't know who's giving dogs gender affirming surgery, but
Oh dear. I'm just giving them ideas.
oh my god.
Not trans people, but other people.
This is just fodder for Fox and Friends.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be on conservative network news this week. They're going to be like, this strange fruity person has said that dogs are getting gender affirming surgery. Quick, panic. And then the clapback from that, from the more liberal news media, is going to be, that person said that dogs in Spain are having that happen. It's not even happening in America. It'll be great. I'm really looking forward to it.
All I could think is, well, what else is being spayed and neutered?
Hopefully a lot of things.
True.
God.
That's got to apply, though. Speaking of dogs,
She heard Spade and she had to come say hi.
that's our dog.
Yeah, we're not doing anything
she's
interesting,
just saying
Sarah.
hi.
God. Your dog is ridiculous.
She's a husky dog.
Here, I'll see if I have a good example.
Oh.
Yes. Several Colorado schools go on lockdown after receiving similar threats from today.
What?
Yesterday, my school was closed because somebody got shot over parking in front of an apartment building.
What?
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
UCCS.
Administration sends letter wiping out addiction and mental health groups. Colorado Springs City Councilor walks out in protest during MLK Jr. Day proclamation.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah.
How
Supreme Court
dare
rules
we?
House Republicans can challenge mail ballot deadline. The Clintons are facing contempt of Congress for refusing a subpoena. Denmark's army chief says he's ready to defend Greenland against America. This is just the suggested headlines that pop up on Google when I click news.
Did you hear about the mail stamp? What do they call that? The date stamp. That's not what they call it. The when you send mail, they stamp it. It has the dates on it, and it's called something.
I'm not a mailman, Tess. I don't know.
Date mark. The mark date.
Postmark. There you go.
Postmarked. Yeah, they're like, I don't remember all the details, but
They're arguing that
they're changing
they need
when
to
they're
go
postmarking it. And instead of postmarking it the day you send it, they're gonna postmark it when it leaves the post office.
Okay, that is interesting.
Which is a problem for voting.
Because it doesn't matter if you get your ballot in on time, if some weirdo at
Yeah.
the post office decides that you have blue hair and they don't want to send in your ballot.
Well, yeah, and all of the laws are based on the postmark.
Yeah.
And because it was always when you sent it, so you could send it on, election day, and it would get postmarked that day, and it would be legal. But now it's all vague and weird.
Let's post all those totally clear-cut things that are going on. Well,
Yeah.
but like I was saying
Well, it's just
when
another
we were
example.
out today, like, do you think there's going to be an election this time? Because Trump already promised his supporters they would never have to vote for anybody ever again.
That's true. I mean, so one of my social media timelines, I keep seeing these videos, which I think are kind of classic because it's AOC somewhere in Washington D.C. at the Capitol, and there's just like all of these white steps behind her, and it's always dark outside, and she's getting interviewed all by herself with a whole bunch of reporters that you can't really see. And it's like this. It's super ominous. Like, I think it's cool. Like, I love it. But and she's just talking about all these things that are happening, and giving her thoughts, and my bringing it up is that like she talks like we're having elections, right? Like the people in Congress are doing things the same way they would,
Yeah.
as if elections are going to happen.
Well, we have
my
to.
bottom line point. Yeah.
We don't have another option.
Right. And so, like, in my head, it's gonna happen, and they're gonna have to do something. Something very specific and drastic would have to happen to stop it. And I think it would be very interesting to see what the nation's response to whatever that drastic thing would be.
The nation's gonna do fuck all. Everybody's too scared of each other, just like they have been since January 6th.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, you remember Maga Granny? I heard an update on her that I haven't heard in a while. She was one of those ones that was like super involved in Q, and she was like leading the whole thing, and she got a lot of attention because she was elderly and on the forefront of things.
I missed that one.
She
Makes sense though.
got put in prison.
Oh, so it makes sense.
The whole January 6th thing.
Yeah.
And she spent the whole time, she has been spending the whole time she's been in prison, educating herself and like going to classes and learning things and hanging out in the library, etc., 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 and realized she was in a cult.
Whoa!
So much so that when Trump pardoned everyone from January 6th, she refused the pardon and stayed where she was. She's like, no, I did the crime. I'm doing the time. I was in a cult. I did bad things, and I need to take the consequences of my actions.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely missed that one.
Yeah,
That's
I got an
crazy.
update on that one this week, which was really cool.
Huh.
Yeah.
I love seeing humanity in the midst of madness.
Humanity actually humaning, right? Because humans human constantly. They're always gonna be humaning. But when they actually human appropriately, when they actually like take a step back and are like, I was wrong.
Yeah.
That sucks of me. Fuck. And then they do something else.
Yeah.
That I love seeing that.
Me too.
I have this wonderful
Well, 'cause
nurse that I work with.
we've been
that-
there.
Yeah, we've been
Sorry.
there. I have this wonderful nurse that I work with that will ask questions. He's a cis white-ish man. He's older, probably 60s, I want to say. But he's always asking me questions because he doesn't understand, like, what I am and why I am and the weird dynamics that happen with the relationships in a trans, lesbian,
In queer world.
queer, pansexual, polyamorous world. So he's always like, oh, that's a thing? I didn't know. How does that work exactly? How does, and when he asks these questions, he's always curious. He always wants to figure out how it's happening and what it's doing. And he has a queer son in a queer relationship, and he doesn't understand that either. So he's just always trying to actually legitimately understand things and asking questions to educate himself. And that's really cool. That, and he's never known anybody who was ever in a cult before, so he's always got questions about that too, because every now and then he'll go into a patient and be like, I don't know why they're like that. And I'm like, did you see the Proverbs 31? They are in a cult. They are acting like this because of this. And he's like, oh. My favorite one the other day was when I told him that my nieces and nephews in one of the families aren't allowed to use technology. And he's like, actually, that sounds great. I mean, not having kids on tablets and stuff. I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. It sounds wonderful not having kids on tablets. Until, how do you use a self-checkout?
Yeah.
How do you find news? How do you turn on a television, essentially? How do you turn in a paper if you go to college?
Yeah.
How do you do, like, literally anything? If you are being abused in any way, how do you find help without technology? It's nearly impossible.
Yeah, it's how the world works.
And it doesn't really occur to people how, because all they think when they hear these kids aren't allowed to use technology is, that's wonderful. Until they hear, how are they going to use a self-checkout in a grocery store?
Yep.
And they're not allowed to, and they don't know how to use credit cards, because my brother just figured out what a credit card is like 2 years ago. And then it just blows their mind.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like they don't actually think about the ramifications of trying to live in 2026.
Yeah,
And
well,
not
because
use technology.
we want to go back to this lovely place because we think Tom Sawyer. We think, oh, they're out whitewashing a fence. It's so sweet and just a little bit scandalous because you might be tricking somebody into whitewashing a fence for you and they pay you in marbles. What they're not thinking is you can't interact with the world around you.
Yeah. Well, 200 years ago, if you said, I'm not letting my kids use technology, that means they can't ride on a wagon, they can't use a garden hoe,
Yeah.
they can't, right? That's technology, right?
Well, I
In a
don't
very
know if they would
literal
be okay
sense.
with using a hoe in any location, but
Garden or otherwise.
No, it's like the technology gap there from how I grew up to now would be as if I went back to the 90s and told someone that I wasn't allowed to ride in a car because it went so fast that my uterus would fall out.
Right.
Like, that's the level of disparity that there is. between how we're thinking of things. So
Oh, for sure.
naturally, it's a little bit misunderstood what the ramifications actually are.
Yeah.
Because society doesn't stay stagnant. It's not what you think of when you think of
Well, yeah.
how you would like it to be.
Well, I mean, I feel like that's so much of the problem of having a president in their 70s.
Mm.
Right? Like, just the total misunderstanding of what is actually happening in the world. I mean, granted, I think you could be in your 70s and understand what's happening in the world. I definitely think that's possible. I don't think that's what's happening with President of the United States right now.
So Jon Stewart on The Daily Show actually did a bit this week where he had clips from the White House, and Trump and a bunch of people are divvying up the oil rights to Venezuela. And it's actual footage of them divvying up the oil rights to Venezuela because they're in the White House. And before they start any of this, Trump just shuffles over to the window and he's like, "Isn't that beautiful? Oh, that's so nice. Oh, I just love it so much. That's the door to the ballroom. It just looks so nice." But I guarantee you, when they open the doors and unveil that stupid fucking ballroom, it's going to look like the set of an 80s porno. It's going to be marble and weird gold. It's not going to be nice. It's like,
yeah, for sure.
It's like what we thought was adorable in the 90s, and we put up like fake chickens and this Tuscan revival from Walmart in everybody's kitchens. Like, he's doing the same thing to the White House, except it costs a lot of fucking money. It's just...
Yeah.
I mean, the Tuscan revival and the 90s kitchens sometimes cost a lot of money too, to be fair.
Yeah, on a different scale. But, like, I mean, that's the whole thing. Like, we have terrible things happening that cost lots of money. That was one of those things AOC was talking about in front of those steps I was talking about earlier, was how she was like, how do you think ICE is being funded? And then she's like, it's all of those healthcare cuts and everything that they're doing, that's all going to pay for ICE, right? They didn't just lose, come up with money out of nowhere.
I don't understand where the outrage is, because when you think of the outrage over taking down Confederate war memorials, none of that same outrage was ever applied to demolishing part of the White House.
That's a good point. That's a frustrating one for me.
It's so frustrating.
Because, like, even Kimmel was, like, talking about the protests in Minneapolis and praising them, and then at the very end spent a considerable amount of time strongly emphasizing how good it was that they were being peaceful and nonviolent. Which I get. But at the same time, it's like people are getting shot in the face, and there's troops with guns running through the streets of America. When does nonviolence when does it become apparent that nonviolence protest is not working? Right? Because, like, I feel like it's just like we've been doing, like, nonviolent protests have been a thing that's happened fairly consistently, for sure, since George Floyd, right?
See, that's the problem, though, because the nonviolent protest group does not yet have a martyr of sufficient clout. Because, yeah, they shot a suburban white woman in the face. That doesn't count as a martyr.
You think it takes a martyr that's the line everybody's waiting for?
I think it often takes a martyr of significant political and, like, visible importance to actually get people to rally around it enough. Because as of now, everything is just so spread out. And there's outrage. But the outrage is so spread apart. And it's so hard to keep up the outrage. Because, like, you have to be outraged over everything. If you are paying attention. Like, you have to still be outraged about sea turtles from 20 years ago, and you have to combine with that the outrage over an unjustified war in 2001. And then you have to combine every outrage that you've had over straws killing things and six-pack rings killing things and the processed food killing things on purpose, and how we are not sustainably farming cattle, and how we are giving subsidies to grain over everything else, and how like the travesties that have been worked upon us have been done so in such a progressive way that you can't just stop being mad about one. You have to be mad about the chosen things, but there's so many things to be mad about all at once that you can't have a cohesive group getting together. That's the problem with the left, is that everybody is so spread out because there's so many things to be mad about. And we are. And you can't stop. Like, I can't use a coffee pod in the morning without being outraged at myself over the waste. Like, it's bad. And when you take that much outrage and spread it over so thin, you don't have one thing that everybody can focus on, which is the joy of being on the right, is that you have a figure you can focus things on, and you just do what he tells you to do. You get outraged at these things. And right now it's just being outraged at the left in general, which is a really easy thing to do, because like, you see a girl with a mohawk or you see a tall girl and you're like, aha, it is the queers and the transes. I hate them so much. And then you just be outraged about one thing during the day. It saves you so much energy. I can't even imagine how nice that must be. But no, it would take an entirely unproblematic figure. It would take a Jesus Christ level unproblematic figure that has the kind of clout with the left that Trump has with the right to actually experience harm or unite people to actually do anything against. And by that point, you're talking about civil war long before that.
Yeah. The word I heard this week that I thought was interesting was insurgency. I feel like that would be the more likely outcome than civil war with the way the world is at this point.
Oh, absolutely. See, yeah. because you think of civil war because that's what we have as context.
Yeah.
But what we should be thinking more of as context is the Rebel Alliance.
Yeah.
Because it's not united around one figure, because it can't be, because it's too spread out. Like, I mean, the Empire has Darth Vader, and then the Rebel Alliance has this ragtag bunch of queers. There's no better word for them. Just doing whatever the fuck they can. And sometimes one of them's off saving a tiny green baby from somebody, and you can't rely on them to do shit. And sometimes somebody's off kissing their sister, so I don't know where that lies. Maybe we got some Arkansas queers? I don't know.
Oh dear.
But that's something that a lot of our modern folklore has in common, is that the right, the Death Eaters, the Sith, have one character who is the figurehead. And then the good guys are always like this ragtag bunch of queers. Just spread out over who knows where, trying to do things mostly unsuccessfully, which is why they had to put somebody in place like Luke Skywalker, no real power whatsoever, a figurehead that you can just say, hey, look, no, that's the queer we're following, let's do him. Or Harry Potter, no, that one was supposed to die and didn't, like, it's all folklore. It's all manufactured. You just chose some rando and were like, no, this is the mythology, and you had to make the mythology, and then you had to unite behind it, and then that person had to experience real danger and be above reproach in every way you could think of, and then you can kind of try to unite the ragtag queers. I don't have the patience to be a leader of the ragtag queers, just for the record. I am not campaigning for this mission. I will counsel the ragtag queers when they come back with PTSD. That's all I got.
Well, that was the other thing we talked about this morning, is all this is happening and it feels like the world is ending and we still have to do our jobs and go to school and raise kids and
yeah, you still have to put in your 40 hours and make sure that the children have their hair combed and are wearing underwear.
Yeah.
Because they don't always do that when you don't remind them.
Turns out. Yeah. No, it's a weird dichotomy.
Yeah.
It's a like me sitting here dealing with my foot and trying to do what I have to do for work and school and whatever I'm doing, and then like watching things happen in Minnesota and being like, I don't even know how I would get from what I'm doing right now to being in a scenario that looks like this. You know, like it seems so distant from the reality that I live every day.
We're in a scenario that helps this.
Oh, well, that too.
Like, what are you gonna do? Show up in Minnesota and be like, I have come to help the queers. Please, Point Bisham. What are you gonna do?
Yeah,
what are you gonna do?
Yeah, exactly.
It's this weird position to be in where you have so much information.
Yeah.
And no power, authority. I mean, we couldn't even afford gas money to get to Minnesota right now.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? What sort of civil war is this? I mean, at least if it were the old Civil War, I could have a horse and, like, feed it grass on the way. I have to use petrol to get from here to Minnesota, and to do that, I have to deal with the oil companies who are currently divvying up Venezuela with President Trump while they admire this yet-to-be unveiled ballroom of 90s marble.
Yeah.
The fuck?
No, it's pretty messed up.
The fuck? I would love to join the Civil War, but I have...
You have to do stuff! I know!
To do shit!
I know!
I wouldn't even love to join the Civil War. I don't want to do that.
No, I don't either.
It sounds exhausting.
Yeah.
I'm already exhausted. Well,
Yeah.
we were talking about how we both wear Garmin watches. Let's not even go into the ethics of that, or we'll be outraged again. And they track our sleep, and we haven't slept decently in probably at least a month.
Yeah, a couple months. Yeah.
I've had one night where my Garmin watch was like, yes, you have rested. The rest of them is like, you should probably sit the fuck down. You should not. I wake up and my watch is on 1, and it's like, today's suggestions. Rest.
I have to go to work.
Like, I can't. I have to get in at... You are also telling me I have to do 18,000 steps. But aside from that, I have to go take care of people. I have to go work. People are still having strokes even if the world is ending.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a weird timeline.
Oh, and then worked this week. This lady, she's going through cancer. She had breast cancer. It's metastasized. So cancer is an overgrowth of cells, essentially. And wherever those cells start, those are the cells that are metastasizing. They can travel through all sorts of ways. Often it's through lymph. But when you have an overgrowth of breast cells turning into cancer, it means they're not well differentiated, so they're not actually doing the job of cells in the breast. But also they will travel to other parts of your body. So hers traveled to her brain, which means she has a literal boob growing in her brain. Not a good one, because these cells are not well differentiated, but that's what cancer is. These cells are not helpful. They're just growing where you don't want them. So we had to go in. We had to take out a growth of breast cells from her brain. And forgive my terrible descriptions of things. That's just how I understand them, so that's how I say them. But anyways, she's recovering from literal brain surgery. And she's listening to sermons, and that's great. And I have to go in and give her an antibiotic and IV flush antibiotics. We have had a shortage of the IV piggyback ones that take a long time to go through. We have gone in many of them since the hurricane in Asheville to an IV push version because that wiped out one of our supply depots. So
that was a while ago.
It was a while ago, but we're still pushing some of our antibiotics instead of hanging them on an IV pole, which I like in general. It makes for a lot more mobility with people. It's great, but it takes 3 to 5 minutes to push these antibiotics. You can't do them too fast or they will burn the insides of your veins. It will be incredibly uncomfortable. So you have to stand over a person with an IV and very, very, very slowly push a giant syringe of antibiotics into their system. So I connect this antibiotic and I'm going to be there for 3 to 5 minutes. And she asks, "Do you know Jesus Christ?" And me, with my background, have to think, well, how am I going to answer this and spend the next 5 minutes of my life? What I went with was, I've met that guy. What I did not say was, I'm a cult survivor, and that's a really horrible thing for you to say to the person who's stuck with you for the next 5 minutes and 10 hours. So maybe shut up. So I did that. That was super awkward. She knew it was super awkward because I did not make eye contact for the rest of that because she should feel awkward. Like entrapping somebody to talk about something she wants to talk about that is entirely unwelcome. Because don't bring up politics and religion to the people taking care of you. Yeah. If you disagree, you're probably going to lose trust in them, for one thing.
Yeah.
And also, it's not a pleasant topic for all of us. You assume it is.
Right.
Fuck you. I came back and I took care of her the next day. She's a sweetheart. A very sweet human being. Obviously has no clue the trauma she is causing to people.
For sure.
I discharged her, and the last thing she said to me was, she started sobbing.
Oh no.
As I finished her discharge paperwork in front of 2 members of her family. And I'm like, are you okay? Do you not want to go home? Are you scared? What's going on? And she's like, I just really need you to remember that Jesus died for you. And I'm like, oh my God.
Oh no.
Can I give you a hug?
Oh no.
I'm like, oh, sweetheart. I'm like, okay. I'm calling a wheelchair to take you outside. And I gave her a hug and I'm like, I'm really glad you have support. And I left. I can't. I can't. People are...
Yeah, I guess that's one nice thing about working with kids is they usually don't know enough to say stuff like that. Yeah. The closest I've ever gotten is there's one kid whose parents are clearly very strongly anti-Trump, and a couple of times, I'm trying to teach reading, and he's like, "So, who did you vote for? Did you vote for Trump?" And then he'll say a bunch of terrible things about Trump.
Oh, sweetheart, no. Sweetheart, no.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about that right now.
We are trying to do reading. Thank you. This is neither the time nor the place.
Yeah. and it's hard because, like you get where he's coming from, and you, yeah, and he doesn't know, he doesn't know that you're not supposed to talk about that, right? Like, I mean,
a lot of people
he goes
don't.
to my school for a reason. He's pretty socially unaware to start with, right? Like social cues are not. Nobody who goes to my school is good at social cues.
That applies to staff too, right?
In many cases.
I'm just saying so because I know you.
Crazy world. Well, and it's sad that the other thing that's sad is like it shouldn't be so complicated to talk about the president, right? Like
It shouldn't.
but it's like just bringing up the name of the president is such an inflammatory thing in this juncture.
But
Like,
it was.
It's crazy.
It has been. One of the things I remember very well about when I was in 5th grade, and I was going to the expat school in South America, and we very rarely got to go places on a bus together, but we were on a bus together, and everybody was telling jokes.
Oh yeah.
And I told this joke that I had, because I only had jokes that got sent to my parents, like copy and like fold and mail.
Yeah.
And people would like print out the email jokes that started going around at that point, and like they would print them out, they would fold them, they would put them in an envelope, they would send them to South America so that we could have a little giggle. And they were almost always political jokes. And this one had like, it was a priest and a rabbi and Bill Clinton or something.
That was a very popular joke.
That popular one where one of them is like, I'm gonna make one person happy and throws a $1 bill out. Like that would make somebody happy these days. Oh my god, inflation.
Yeah. I know this joke.
And then another one throws out $5 bills and like, I'm gonna make 5 people happy. And then one goes, I'm gonna make everybody happy, and throws Bill Clinton out the window.
Yep.
Like everybody thought that was hilarious.
Yep.
Because the entire expat community
was mad. Bill Clinton.
At Bill Clinton, because all the expats that I knew were military and oil people at the time,
or just evangelical Christians.
And they were mad. This was before.
Well, even in my circles, it's the same joke.
This was before any of the like infidelity stuff came out.
Oh
that
yeah.
I was so mad at.
Oh yeah, that was just cherry on top.
Yeah, they were like, of course,
absolutely.
he's liberal. Of course he'll do that. They didn't use liberal then, though. They used, he's Democrat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Democrat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, that was a thing in my circles, too.
The world is ending, Tess. It literally feels like it's ending, and that's...
Well, it is for sure
upsetting.
That looked the most, like, in my opinion, it's gotten the closest to looking like, oh crap, World War III could happen. Like,
no,
it's like people have been saying that for years, but like to my observation, I've always been like, nah, I don't see it. But now, like, okay, I actually kind of see it.
And I grew up in places with lots of political unrest, and we always took a very like pragmatic approach to this. Like, we're here no matter what. We've got to figure it out no matter what.
Right.
People are probably going to turn off the power. There's probably going to be a strike. They're probably going to close the streets. They're probably going to turn off the water. And that was the whole thing. But that was something that was never supposed to happen in the United States. But now, every time I leave the house, I have to keep myself from plugging the bathtub and filling it with water. Like, every time.
Oh, no.
I leave for work, and I'm like, should I call back to the house and make sure they fill the bathtubs with water?
No.
Should I call back and make sure they do that? Like, how deep can I dig without messing with the sprinkler system and pissing off the HOA to make sure that we can dispose of sewage appropriately when they shut off the plumbing? Like, it is not supposed to be like that in America, or at least I was told it wasn't.
Yeah. Well, it hasn't been. Like, it hasn't been that way in ever.
But no, I have been going back because I've used Thunder Pots.
I'm assuming that is a kitchen pot for a toilet.
It's shaped differently. It's usually ceramic lined.
Oh.
You slide it under the bed, and you have a cloth over it, and then if you need to pee in the middle of the night, you slide it out, you pee in it, and then in the morning, you dump it into the outhouse. Like, that's how you do it without freezing to death in the wintertime, essentially. And I have been thinking recently, I don't know where to buy one of those around here. Target does not sell them.
Yeah, no.
It's called a thunder pot because that's what it sounds like when you have ceramic tin and you piss into it. It
Oh,
sounds like
jeez.
thunder.
It's worse than having to use crutches in the middle of the night.
Because I mean, we could find bedpans, but they spill so bad.
Well, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. God, I hope we don't have to do that.
Well, you know, there's worse things. I mean,
Right.
there's lots of worse things than that. But also, we've only got a couple bathtubs, and I
Yeah.
just don't know.
It's more than a lot of people.
It's more than a lot of people,
We
but
have
still,
three.
with a family of 7 people,
That's
that's
true.
not much drinking water.
Yeah, that's true. We have a lot of people.
That's why I get nervous when we haven't scrubbed the tubs in a minute. Just
Oh,
like,
no.
oh, dude. I've washed the cat's tail on this. I don't know. I don't know if this is safe.
You are a problem. Ah, it's a problem.
She already knew that.
Yeah, she did. Well,
The world's just ending.
it's
Tess.
ending.
It's not actually ending. It just feels like it's ending because this is the most political unrest that America's had.
Yeah. It's different, that's for sure.
It is different.
Be interesting to see what happens.
Opportunity test. It's a land of opportunity.
Oh, jeez.
All sorts of opportunities.
All sorts.
Mostly opportunities to use thunder pots.
Ha!